the Plus Pitch Podcast, your morning pitching podcast from PitcherList.com. My name is Nick Pollack. Today is April 11th. Happy Friday. And yes, we are going to talk about baseball. Walker Buehler made another start yesterday, his third of the year, after the first two. I mean, really after the first one, I was like, no, I'm out. I'm done. I had him ranked high because we can make a quick decision. The quick decision is get out of here. He was in Fenway against the Blue Jays in his third start. First two were pretty bad. And guess what? Oh my gosh, 6.1 innings, 1 earned run, 4 hits, 1 walk, and 7 strikeouts. Uh-oh. Did we drop too soon on Walker Buehler? I don't think so. I mean, yes, this was a nice start. Awesome, great. It's very possible that this actually does turn into something and he does rev the engines and get going. But I still see him as sub 94. A lot of hard contact. The four-seamer on its own has a really flat attack angle. Like 1.7 height-adjusted VAA at 18 inches of vert, and it drives me up the wall that Walker Buehler isn't just peppering this thing at the top of the zone. He doesn't. 2 over 25 whiffs. He got a lot of called strikes with it, but they were like middle of the plate. Guys were just passive on the pitch. And he had a sub 20% of CSW and 3 over 23 whiffs on curves and changeups, which is just like, the analogy I gave inside of the roundup was watching him pitch is kind of like an artist giving you a painting of a chair. And it's like, yeah, that's a chair. You see that it's a chair. You see that the guy did the job, but you don't want to hang it up on your wall, right? Like Walker Buehler is doing some things like, oh, here's some cutters. Cool. You want some of those? Yeah, here's some sweepers. Fine. But it's not something that you want to glorify and you really want to be thinking about constantly. Now, if there is a day that Walker Buehler can really take that attack angle and 18 inches of vert at even 93, 94 and legitimately locate it consistently, then we're talking. I mean, it's not the greatest extension, unfortunately. It's not like 7 feet or something like that. But that should play very well upstairs. And then you should be able to have everything else underneath. You should be able to do the Blake Snell blueprint pretty effectively. I just have not seen him have a good command start, like an actual command start, not walk start, command start in a long time. So yeah, it just doesn't quite work yet. If you want to take a spec ad on Walker Buehler, that's fine. He gets the Rays next. I might do that in one of my leagues just to say, like, you know what, Nick, maybe there's more to this than you're giving credit. That 44% CSW on the four-seamer, maybe that's actually kind of real. I don't know. Right now, I'm just not seeing that wow factor that makes me think that he's distant from the first 2 starts that we saw and what we saw last year. Jose Soriano against the Rays got the win. 7.2 innings, 1 earned run, 5 hits, 3 walks, and 4 strikeouts. He's not doing the thing with the sinker that I really want him to do, which is go inside against right-handers. He was a little bit more erratic with it, had a sub 60% strike rate with it, but the curveball, oh boy. Instead of just being exclusive to left-handers this time, he threw it against right-handers and left-handers. 48% CSW on this pitch is insane. 74% strikes. He leaned on it a ton. You love to see that. And the slider that was a big factor before, not really. He threw some against right-handers, but yeah, they were just 6 thrown, 11% usage against right-handers. Not really that pitch that we saw in the previous outing for Jose Soriano. It's fine. Against the Rays, he got the win. You should be very happy with him moving forward. And he gets the Rangers. It's a bit of a test. We're going to hold on. We just got to hope that everything is okay. Ryan Feltner debatably should have gone the lead because, oh my gosh, 6 innings, 1 earned run, 3 hits, 2 walks, and 7 strikeouts, 36% CSW for a King Cole. And he also gets the gold star. The fun thing here is you have Ryan Feltner pitching, of course, in Coors as he hosted the Brewers. And with the thin air of Colorado, if you don't know this, when it comes to vert or IVB, same thing. It's just how much the four-seamer goes up, right? What we normally think of as the average is around, let's just say 16, okay? 15 to 16, but let's just say it's 16. If you take that and you go into the trop, that turns into 17.5. If you take that and you go into, it's not Minute Maid Park anymore, it's Dakin, or Dakin, it's Dakin, then that turns into 17 inches. But if you take that into Coors, it turns into 12.5. It's a minus 3.5. But the thing is, when you think about like cutters or so, cutters, when it comes to drop, you generally start seeing actual drop and whatnot around like under 10, right? And then the good stuff is like 3 or so. And to see Ryan Feltner have a 9 IVB, 9 inches of vert, because of cores that really turned this 12 and a half, 13 into 9, means that he actually went upstairs for tons of called strikes, 16 of them, with his four-seamer to the Brewers for the Cannibal McSanchez. If you don't know that one, it's because Animal Sanchez and Colin McHugh were two pitchers that had these successful seasons out of nowhere because they threw these cutters that were just high cutters that would start too far up and then come back down into the zone for called strikes. They each had a season of that, and it was pretty cool. It was like weird success. So I call it the Cannibal McSanchez. That's what Feltner did because that four-seamer all of a sudden had extra drop because it's in cores. Something to think about. I just think it's pretty funny and interesting. But that's all this was. So, no, we're not jumping in on Ryan Feltner. Also, I've not seen that command from him before. So, yeah. Okay. Spencer Schwellenbach was against Jesus Luzardo. This was fun. Oh, man. What wasn't fun was the rain delay. And that really effectively ended Schwellenbach's night. But 6 innings, 1 earned run, 7 hits, 2 walks, and 5 Ks for Spencer Schwellenbach. I'm not giving him ace is going to ace yet. I know. You're upset. It's only been 3 starts. First of all, it's always going to be 4 for the beginning of the year generally. But the real thing is that it was a 1.5 whip. Okay? Now, it was raining a bit. He also, Schwellenbach, I got to say, Schwellenbach is impressing me massively because entering this season, he was the pitcher that was the kitchen sink with whiffs. It was just like, whoa, you're not supposed to be both, really. You really are just supposed to be, all the good pitchers are like, all right, I've got my whiff pitches, but it's like 3 or 4 that I throw. Or if I'm a kitchen sink, then I'm just like a Holly. But Spencer Schwellenbach was saying, no, I throw 96, but like my four-seamer isn't very good. It's actually something I just kind of set up everything else. The slide and the curve get whiffs. The cutter's really good to lefties. I have a splitter as well, etc. And this is actually a different Schwellenbach we've seen this year, where his four-seamer is the leader pitch. He has 7 feet of extension. He has a flatter attack angle, and he's going 96 upstairs with four-seamers. This is working. While the slider actually isn't as effective, the curveball is, and he has a splitter for lefties that is actually somewhat reliable. The cutter is not as good as it was last year, which is weird because that was like my favorite pitch from him. But the thing is, Schwellenbach is working. Like, this works too. Your biggest weakness is now your strongest pitch. He is so good. He really, really is so good. And I can still hear Jason Collette shouting 167 innings into my ear about Spencer Schwellenbach too quickly getting all this extra volume last year, and he's going to peter out later this year. He's going to get hurt. So if you want to sell high, you can do that. I really think you can do that with Spencer Schwellenbach right now. I'm not, because it's just way too fun, and I don't care what you say, Colette. I don't think it's going to happen. He's too good. Mr. Crescendo, the swelling Bach. You can't do it. All right, we're going to talk about Jesus Luzardo. And by the way, this great matchup with Waka and Bailey Ober. We're going to talk about all of that after this break. Jesus Luzardo was on the other side of that start in Atlanta. 6 innings, 1 earned run, 6 hits, 1 walk, and 6 strikeouts. And it's a third straight game of Luzardo against now Atlanta. It was the Dodgers before, the Nationals before that. 3 straight games of legit production. And I'm starting to give credit to that sweeper just being a more effective pitch and more consistent than the gyro slider that he had before. Less reliant on that changeup always being there against right-handers. And I like the fact that he's throwing sinkers inside to lefties. Like, that is the good stuff. That's what we want to see from Luzardo, is that sinker going inside to lefties. And it used to be no sinkers. It was just four-seamers with extra horizontal movement. And I saw this, and I saw him throwing outside fastballs last year. And I said, well, hold on a second. Why are you doing this? You get extra unexpected horizontal movement. You should definitely be throwing this inside to lefties. And that's what he's doing now. He's having success with it. 6 over 28 whiffs on his changeup as well. Not to say that it wasn't consistent. It was a 36% CSW. I take that back, by the way. That was a sweeper. I'm so sorry. Right, I remember this now. The changeup was bad at under 40% strikes. 39%, which is so bad. The sweeper was so good, 6 over 28 whiffs. Apologize for that. So Luzardo is someone that I have to raise up in the rankings. I do really want to mention, we see this. This happens with Luzardo. He gets into grooves, and he doesn't stay in them always. We're seeing 3 in a row just from the beginning. We're not seeing the downturn. We saw the downturn in the spring, 2 starts where he was so bad in all these home runs, right? So it's not completely removed. It's been good so far. We're happy with it. It's not going to be there forever. The question is, how bad is the downturn? There was a moment, actually, I won't even say like 2-3 years ago, that Luzardo was absurdly good for like the first 2-3 months. And then it really took a sour turn. So don't get too don't get too enamored here that he's like a top 30 guy all of a sudden. But I am recognizing that he's a cherry bomb. He's someone that is going to be volatile, but you're going to hold on to your teams. He's not a hipster of thinking about like you should drop him. He's turning into a cherry bomb, which is a good thing. Ish. Bailey Ober went against the Kansas City Royals. 6 innings, 1 run, 5 hits, 1 walk, 4 Ks. He had a tough first. It was 3 hits. Flair was in there. He had a really hanging slider to Bobby Witt, etc. And after that, he settled down for 4 straight innings. It was easy, no problem. What is this? I'm not afraid of the Royals. And then the 6th inning arrived, and he got into a little bit of trouble. He worked around it, and he was at 73 pitches. And keep in mind, he was in like 50-something entering the 6th inning, which is crazy. And then they didn't keep him in. That was it. He got out of it. He was done. Awesome. Great. And then he got pulled at 73 pitches, which is no, stop doing this. This is his 3rd start. Come on, let the guy go. Let him go. I know it's a 1-1 game. You want to win everything. Come on. It's so frustrating. So we get a Bailey special essentially here. And the slider is still unimpressive to me. It really bothers me. He's not. I really miss the days too that Bailey Ober was just always so consistent of getting that 4-seamer up, just never low. He's not quite there with that too. I don't know. It's Bailey Ober is weirding me out a little bit, and it's why I have him around 40 right now as opposed to inside my top 30, etc. But I really hope that comes around. Chris Bassett, 5.2 innings, 1 run, 5 hits, 1 walk, and 5 strikeouts. 16 whiffs for a gallows pole is a great thing, and it's a co-share of it with I believe Jesus Luzardo, if I got that correctly. Maybe it was Walker Buehler. No, it was just him. Just him. No, never mind. Someone else later. I'm being stupid. Anyway, Chris Bassett, 16 whiffs. He was down 2 ticks and 3 to 4 ticks down on the cutter, but really good control of everything that he has. And I meant command with, of course, good control, but inside the zone command of not really allowing these mistakes over the middle of the plate, working the edges effectively with the cutter and the sinker, and of course the 6 other pitches as well. This was inside of Fenway. This is a much better version of Chris Bassett, and I don't think that the velocity is going to stay down for Bassett here. We've seen it go up and down already, I think. April weirdness is part of the problem. I'm holding Chris Bassett for Atlanta next. We have Quinn Priester going into Coors opposite Ryan Feltner, and this was the first start we saw of him against for the Brewers. 5 innings, 1 run, 5 hits, 2 walks in, 4 strikeouts, 7 whiffs, 24% CSW. Is he actually good and all? I mean, I can't judge this one because it's all about the secondaries with Quinn Priester. And we all know that the Mile High City messes up secondaries. And I can't tell you that his sinker and his 4-seamer are very good. It's like 93 and change. And just even taking into account like the subtraction of movement on both of those, the sinker and the 4-seamer, still doesn't add up to a good one. So he gets the Tigers next. I don't think I'd go for in a 12-teamer. 15-teamer, I can understand that. But I don't think that you really want to go for this and roll with Quinn Priester. Gavin Williams is the co-share of the Gallows Ball. My apologies, everyone. 5 innings, 1 run, 3 hits, 2 walks, and 7 Ks, 16 whiffs. You're like, hey, this is great. I got to win. Yeah, it's against the White Sox. You also need 94 pitches to get through 5 innings. And I'm really upset. Look, Gavin Williams is not being the Gavin Williams we want him to be. Okay? He's like at 6.97 feet of extension. And he's at 96. His slider is now a sweeper. It's just a classification. So if you see like, oh my gosh, all these sweepers, it's the same thing as it was before. But there's no cutter. Where is it, Gavin? We need that 91 mile per hour pitch to truly glue it all together. You know, it's so obvious. It's right there. You had a 56% sweeper strike rate. You have this really good fastball that they're always just sitting on. You have elite extension. You just get this cutter over the plate and you win. You have it. You said you were going to do it. I don't get it. I don't know. He's weirding me out. And he's not the... Without that cutter, honestly, if it's just the same thing from last year, really for the most part, like 2 years ago, then we're not going to progress. We're not going to be better with Gavin Williams. We need that extra pitch. That's all it is. And like otherwise, then he might become a hipster, honestly. Like I want him to be a Holly. I want him to be that consistent guy in the 40s that's just like, well, I just know you're going to give me good enough ratios and strikeouts and we're cool. Nothing elite. Yeah, I don't know. It drives me up the wall. Michael Wacha against the Twins, 5.1 innings, 200 runs, 3 hits, 3 walks, and 4 Ks, 11 whiffs, 27% CSW. And we did this game on playback. I watched it with our community, Bailey Ober and Michael Wacha. If you guys don't know about playback, I don't know how you missed it, but we're streaming every single MLB game. Like if an MLB game is on, it's not ESPN, then we are watching it live. Like it's that easy. We're not just watching game day or something. We're watching the actual game with community chatting, synced up with you. I'm often in there. Eric Smolsky was just popping in yesterday. Justin Mason comes in. Like we have all these people that come in, and you should join us. It's great. It's free. You already have MLB.TV. Stop watching it alone. Okay. So Michael Wacha versus Ober was fun because both of them were changeup guys. And if you really watch this one, Michael Wacha did exactly what Michael Wacha does, which is throw fastballs around the zone and then have cutters as well and curves and all the other stuff just to get to the changeup that is just so good. And it's really fun watching him do this constantly. Like he's able to control everything around the zone as he wants to. It's really fun. He doesn't make mistake pitches. Michael Wacha's command is great with an elite changeup, and you understand why he's a Toby. Like why he's not going to be a super detrimental pitcher for your fantasy teams. So I think he's just constantly underrated. Jonathan Cannon is properly rated as someone who shouldn't be on your teams. 5.1 innings of 6 earned runs, 7 hits, 3 walks, 6 Ks. One day, we will get to play the 1812 overture for the day that Jonathan Cannon goes off. Can't wait. And last but not least is Zach Littell, who I can't get over this. 4 innings, 7 earned runs, 8 hits, 1 walk, 4 Ks against the Angels. I just want him to have his own cologne line, Littell by Littell. I just feel like it'd be so funny. Littell by Littell. Because it's little by little, but it's not. Yeah, don't start Littell on your teams. All right, cool. All right, that is it for today. Enjoy Friday. Enjoy Jacob deGrom versus Bryce Miller. Oh my gosh, that's going to be a fun one. But that is it. So my name is Nick Pollack.